Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com, Nino Simeka at MortgageGodfather.ca, and Jewelry Forever at JewelryForever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regina Elena, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
Look at that mountain of foam. Ladies and gentlemen, look at it. It's glorious. And tasty. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 144? I think it's 144. It is episode 144 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and I'm your host, the one, the only, Scott Dion Brown, and we're back after a short break. We weren't here last week. There was no show, some of you noticed, because I was actually at a wedding, my cousin's wedding. It was a lovely ceremony, outdoor, socially distanced type affair at a lovely ski resort outside of Ottawa. And it was a lovely time. So congratulations to Greg and Lexi. Happy nuptials. But we're back this week, everybody. However, I am your host, Scott Dion Brown, but I am not joined by the greatest co-host in the galaxy, because she is actually at this very moment at the Galaxy pageant. So she's off there doing amazing things. So Regine, hello. We miss you. And we want to hear all about your experiences when you get back. But hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. We do have a fantastic guest with us here today, and I'm going to introduce him. He's been on the show before, so I don't have to give him quite as large the introduction as I have in the past. And he's also actually joined us in Among Us streams a few times, so that's exciting. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome actor Timothy Ng. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I was actually going to ask you that question. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Actually, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit rough because yesterday was the Toronto Argonauts home opener. So I'm a CFL fan myself.
Right.
So I went to the game and it was a lot of fun. They've for COVID reasons, they've spread everybody out. So like, if you're sitting in your seats, there's nobody in the seats in front of you, there's nobody in the seats behind you, and there's nobody two seats on either side. So it was pretty good, and it was outdoors and everything. But I when I go to a football game, I usually, drink some beer and stuff like that. But a lot of people I've heard through the pandemic have increased their alcohol intake. But I haven't. I kind of went the opposite direction. I don't know. I don't, and so I didn't think I drank too much yesterday, but I don't know. I'm feeling it. When I got home, I was all, I don't know. You're familiar with the Asian glow, especially if I've been so yesterday I was blotchy red when I got home, and so I feel pretty good now. I've slept and is everything, but a little bit, I don't know. It hit me pretty hard, harder than I was planning to be hit. So that's how I'm feeling. But have you been to any? I don't know, because we're kind of at this time now where things are slowly opening again. I don't know if you attended anything or been to any sort of outdoor things. What have you been up to?
Well, we went on a trip to Port Hope. Oh. So that was mainly outdoors, just kind of sightseeing, just walking around. So that's my outdoor kind of experience.
Yeah.
But I haven't been to any sporting events yet though. But it's good news that Raptors are coming back. I'm a huge Raptors fan. So I'm excited for that. I do work at the Cineplex, the VIP. So, yeah, a lot of people coming in. Yeah, it's just it's a different beast.
So how's it been working? Because I went to during the pandemic, I went to one movie, and that was Tenet. It was the only time I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the cinema because I really want to see this Christopher Nolan movie. And when I went at that time, I went to the theater, and there was like, I think 2 other people in the entire theater at the time. So I was there, and then there was somebody else way over there and somebody else way over behind me, and it was completely empty otherwise. Have things started to like, is it different now? How is it?
I mean, yeah, it's not any different. It's just like the spaces are still kind of separated. So like 2 seats. I think so. If you're like in seat like 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cannot be seated at.
Okay.
And you've got 7 and 8, and then behind you has to be empty, and then on like to your right and left is like 4 seats apart, something like that. So it's wild.
So it's definitely much lower capacity for sure.
Yeah,
Do you find? Yeah, go ahead.
We're capping at like about 50%, and even then, there's still a lot of people. Like I think our max is about like 30 to 40, and it's filled up for F9, and it filled up also for Suicide Squad as well too.
So people seem to be anxious to get back to it, because I remember I was talk in the media about how, like, since a lot of big budget films are being they're doing this hybrid model, either where they put them sort of on streaming and in theaters at the same time, and then there are some that are going straight onto streaming, and there's some talk about like they're wondering if theaters are going to be able to survive this, or if they're going to bounce back. What do you think? Do you think theaters are going to come back, or what are your thoughts?
Me personally, I think theaters are like a thing that people just like. It's kind of like a thing that we do. So I think they are going to lose revenue though, but I don't think that it's going to come crashing down anytime soon. Like, I just feel like it's one of those things that we all just do. Like even like drive-ins, like it's about going out, having a good time, watching a movie, spending a lot of money on
a lot of money. Yeah, exactly. It's I know it's like the classic date, like the dinner and the movie, right? But
yeah.
I hope so. I mean, because I like going to the theater. I mean, not for every type of film necessarily, but especially like sort of the movies with a larger scope, or well, any movies that I'm really excited about. I like the experience of going to the theater and sitting in there and in the dark and everything. So I hope it doesn't go anywhere. And so it's starting to open up again.
Yeah.
I didn't what was I gonna say? It was just I remember when I was at the theater, like I guess the biggest concern is now that this Delta variant is around, and people are concerned and all that stuff. Because I know it's like an indoor spot, but I think they're pretty well ventilated, especially the newer theaters. So yeah. Have you felt like, I guess, working there? Do you find that they've done a good job of, like, I've always been concerned about the people who have to work in those situations. Do you find they've done a good job like protecting you guys and keeping you guys all safe?
Ish. Like, we don't have enough. I personally feel we don't have enough hand sanitizers around. Like, you maybe see like 1 or 2 dispensers, like, in the whole like walk of the theater, and then like you might have one like by the bathroom and by one where you enter, and it's like, you're like, okay, well, that's not really enough. Like, I feel like there should be more around, and then also like there's no monitoring of people, like, keeping their masks on or taking them off, and it gets annoying because it's like some people think like, oh, I'm coming into a place to eat, so I don't I'm taking off my mask to eat anyway, so why do I have to put it on, right? And then it's like annoying because then you like you tell them to, oh, you got to put your mask on, and then they get all sour, they sit down, you serve them, and then they don't tip you, and then it just becomes like this bad bad day. And then also like and they just kind of like I just don't feel as safe as some other people might feel, but that could also just be me. I'm double masked at work because I don't want to risk anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's tough. I even noticed, so like the game I went to yesterday, they sent us all like an email. Everybody who's going to be attending, they're like, okay, the new rules are the only bags you're allowed to bring in are like clear plastic bags, because I guess the idea is they don't want to have to do bag searches anymore, so they just want to be able to go, hold up your bag, okay, here's what I brought, and you can go in. So we didn't bring any bag. And then they had the social distance seating, and then they were like, you have to wear your mask at all times except for when you're eating and drinking. And also, if you can, they said whenever possible, stay away from people about like 6 feet 2 meters is what they're saying. But then in practice, when you actually get there, like I noticed, we get in line to go into the stadium, and I mean, the issue is like when you get in a line, and like even if you stand, say, far away from the person in front of you, right? The person behind you, if they come up right up close to you, you can't really stay away from them. And then when I found when they were bringing us through like the metal detectors and everything, I mean, there was just this immediate bottleneck. So it's like they're trying to social distance, but like right away, like we're all kind of just on top of each other. So it's I'm fully vaxxed at this point. So like I'm less concerned, right? I mean, I know there's the risk of breakthrough infections, but for the most part, I know that it's pretty okay. And also I was outside the whole time. So even when you're at the seats, but like one thing I was thinking of is when we're sitting in our seats, right? So I was telling you, so I'm in my seat. There's nobody in the seat in front of me. There's nobody in the seat behind me on either side, but they staggered it so that there is somebody on the diagonal seat.
Yeah.
And like the diagonal seat is like right there. Like it's not, so it's, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I don't know how, I mean, it's obviously better when there are less people around you, but it's just funny how I feel like to make it perfect, there should be one more seat of spreading to get them away. So it's not it's like almost like they don't, when they're planning it out, it's like they don't, like diagonals right beside you, like they're literally beside you. But anyways, interesting things, interesting times. Yeah, this game I was just at was my first sporting event I've been to. It was cool to be back. Oh, and then the other thing is, like I told you, you can take your mask off to like eat and drink. But what I found is when I looked around me in the seats, like once everybody sits down, everybody's like you're masked as you're walking to your seat. You sit down, you take your mask down, you take a sip of your beer, and then what I found is like pretty much in the stands nobody was masked. Like it was just the whole time. So
yeah.
So I don't know. We're figuring it out, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was at my best friend's wedding like 2 weeks ago, and it was outdoors at a is it a gazebo? Yeah, at a gazebo, and then we go indoors for dinner and dancing and cocktails and stuff.
Okay.
So the rule was you had to be masked in the hall, but once you go inside and you sit down, you can have your masks off.
Yeah.
To eat. But like we weren't eating, but we could still have our masks off. But as soon as you stand up, you got to put that mask on. It's like, well, okay, so I can just move my chair technically while I'm seated and still have my mask off. So it was kind of like a weird rule, but like it was just like we all knew, we all cooperated, put our masks on, and then we went to the bar, and it was weird because we all kind of gathered. And we're like trying to drink, and we're like lifting our masks because we're like, well, we can't take our masks off here.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a thing. It's kind of a weird transitional time because I guess the way I've looked at that is like you're trying to play the numbers game, in that the more time that everybody spends with the masks on, it's like more safe than when they're not. So yeah, technically it doesn't make sense if I have to wear a mask when I'm walking, but then I sit down, we're all going to take our masks with at the table. But I guess the idea is like if you're kind of maximizing the time that the masks are on. But again, it's kind of this, you're right, it's this weird, like, why can I sit here and take it off, but then I'm walking and I have to wear it. And anyway, yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's all right. Oh, hey, what's a good morning there? Crispy, hello, welcome to the show. John Jordy is here as well. Hello, John Jordy. We are here with actor Timothy Ng, and we've just been talking about outdoor events during pandemics. Actually, I did want to ask you a little about. I know you were recently on an episode of Jupiter's Legacy.
Yes, that's right.
So that was cool. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, sure. That was so they delayed the release by a year. I think because due to pandemic reasons. Yep. But I filmed the scene in 2019.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was like my first gig with a new agent. So yeah, it was like this. Yeah, it was pretty cool. At first, so here's the funny part. So I auditioned for the casting notice was like, he's a sketchy Asian dude.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay, cool. All right, sketchy Asian dude. And I do the audition, submit my self-tape, and then I get it, and then they're like, come in for fitting. It's like, okay. And then they're like, you're playing the sketchy dude, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, and then she's like, we took out the Asian part because we just felt like it wasn't and she was like struggling to say, but I knew where she was getting at because she was like, oh, having that part might make it seem like it's a little touch and go or like a little racist, and I'm like, no, I don't think it is. I think you're just making a big deal out of it, but hey. Yeah. Right.
That's weird. Okay.
But, I mean, but also at the same time though, the character wasn't like inherently like, it had anything like, inherently Asian about him. He was just a dude in an alley who happened to be, Asian. But that part didn't matter. But yeah, so I get on set and I'm like, I see Josh Duhamel and Ian Quinlan. They're just seated, waiting to shoot the scene. I'm pacing back and forth. I'm like, holy crap! Josh Duhamel's like right here. I'm like, I know this guy.
Yeah. So
we go to the alleyway and we film the scene, and they're like, okay, cut. We're reversing, and then we kind of just took some time. I went back in the cafe as like my holding area while Josh and Ian were like outside, and they see me and they're like, hey, come here. And so I sit down, and they're like, hey man, like, like how's it going? Blah blah, all this stuff. We started chatting, and then Josh was like, yeah, he was like super friendly. He was just like super chill and was like, yeah, man, like, hope you're having a great time. Is this like your first time doing this? Blah blah blah, all this stuff, and
that's cool.
We just got connected. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we did the scene, pretty easy. They were like, just kind of just showing me the ropes and stuff like that, and then afterwards, so we take a shuttle back to the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
So I hop. So I'm walking around and I'm like, where do I catch the shuttle? Like, so I just see a van with the door open and Josh Duhamel sitting inside. So I'm like, oh, he must be going back to the trailers, right? So I'm like, I approach the van, and then the driver was like, oh no, and then I was like just kind of confused, and Josh was like, no, come in. So I came in, sat down. He's like, you're going back to the home base, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, I just got to make a few stops. First, at the Ritz-Carlton to pick up his girlfriend and her friend as well. And then, it was like, he's like, yeah, don't worry, just come on in. I hope you don't mind, right? So we went to Ritz-Carlton, picked up his girlfriend. We were just talking. They were super chill, like the nicest people ever. And then Josh was like, hey, what are you doing for dinner tonight? I'm like, oh, I'm going home. Like I'm I have plans. He's like, no, like come with us to Lee's. Like I'm like, Lee's, like the concert venue in the annex. No, Lee's, like the restaurant, like Suster Lee, right? I was like, oh shoot. I was like, I don't want to intrude. Yeah, it's fine. I don't want. And they're like, no, it's fine. Just come with us. I'm like, no, I can't. Like I've got a girlfriend waiting for me at home where we have dinner plans. We get to home base. I get out of my costume and I really want a picture with Josh.
Mm-hmm.
So I go knocking on his trailer. His girlfriend opens the door. It's like, hey. I'm like, I hope Josh doesn't mind, but I really want a picture with him. And she's like, yeah. No, he's gonna have a picture with you. Like he's not saying no, right? So so I wait by the trailer outside, and she's like, come inside. And like I'm like, I don't want to intrude on this person, like trailer, like it's a private thing. So I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll wait here. He gets out of costume, takes off his like his long wig and everything, his white hair, comes by. And then his girlfriend was like, hey, he wants a picture with you. He looks at her, was just kind of like hesitant, but then like she gives him a look where it's like, do it type of thing. So I got a picture with him, and it was kind of like the highlight of my day. I was like, I don't care if that scene gets cut. I have a story to tell, and I have a picture. I am set.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm glad he sounds like he was a really, really nice guy. So he was not, that van was not just going back to base camp. That was like, he was making a bunch of stops first, and then.
Yeah, it wasn't going directly. Well, I think it was his personal like van. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, because usually, so people watching, like on sets, there's usually just like a couple drivers usually who like their job is to take actors and people back and forth to places. So it's normal that there'd be like a shuttle you could just jump on and they'll take you back to base. But it sounds like this one was this was like Josh's personal one, and he was just like, yeah, come on in. That's
cool. Yeah, that's why the driver was like, no. And then but then Josh was like, no, come in. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It sounds like he's a really nice guy. And I think the picture you guys are, that's the one on Instagram, right? There's the two of you on there.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so you shot this, you said 2019. Oh yeah. So this is like before pandemic. So we had no idea any of it was coming or any of that, right?
Yeah. And then it was slated for a 2020 release.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they said like, despite, like anything, it was going to come out 2020. And then I guess the pandemic happened. I was like, okay, well, we got to delay it. And then it was weird because I couldn't post anything, like, especially, with the picture of Josh Duhamel, like I couldn't announce it.
Yeah.
So people thought, they were like, oh, so you shot this like during the pandemic? And I was like, no, like 2019. They're like, took them that late to release it? I'm like, well, it's a pandemic. Like, what do you expect, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what actually the same thing just happened. Like right now, there's a Woodbine racetrack commercial that's on TV. I think it's still on. It was on like a week ago or so, and I'm in it. But it's the same thing. We shot it. I think we shot it December, before the pandemic hit. So I guess that might have been 2019. I guess. Mm-hmm. Right. And it was supposed to come out very soon to promote, I guess, Woodbine for that summer. Then obviously the pandemic happens. And so that whole thing got put on ice. And so that's why suddenly this ad starts playing like, a couple of weeks ago. And I'm getting the same thing, like, oh, you guys shot this commercial? And I was like, yeah, we shot it like a long time ago. But then I guess, yeah. So like, they're not going to play an ad for Woodbine Racetrack during the pandemic, right? So that's why it's interesting, because the ad now, it's like, it's got all this mentioning of like how there's COVID safety and all this stuff that they put in, because obviously that wasn't planned, but they've adjusted the commercial to fit. Yeah. So we had no idea what was coming. We had no idea what was around the corner. Oh, hey, Crispy says, bro, Jupiter's Legacy has got to be one of the best series on Netflix. Really love the show. Can't wait until they make more episodes. Well, there you go. And this gentleman right here, or he's on this side, Timothy, was in it. So there you go. There you go. But hello, Carter's Gaming Show. I can't remember if I said hi to you yet. But hey, I am Usa. Hello. Welcome to the show. All you guys, John, Jordy, Crispy. Thank you all for being here. Make sure you've hit the like button. We're here chatting with Timothy Ng. Actually, wait, we're at the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to quickly do the ad break.
All right.
And then we're going to be chatting with more. So we're not actually going anywhere, but I'm just going to read these ads. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by the following fantastic advertisers. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to find out what your home is really worth? Are you buying, selling, investing, or renting a home? Then Jennifer C., Realtor at Home Life Culture Link, is here to help. Call or text Jennifer today at 647-403-8887. Don't deal with just anyone. Speak to a professional. Jennifer C. at Home Life Culture Link. To see your current listings, visit homelifeculturelink.com. The Mortgage Godfather is here to give you advice with any mortgage needs you may have, and he will shop to find you the best mortgage. Nino Saimeka, mortgage agent. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. Find out more at mortgagegodfather.ca or call 905-604-6955. Jewelry Forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and change watch batteries, all done on site. And we have an amazing deal worked out with them. If you tell them Scott and Regine sent you, you will get 15% off your purchase. That's right, 15% off. Jerry over at Jewelry Forever is an absolute artist. He specializes in custom jewelry. He can make something beautiful for you, or you can buy something already made off the rack. Find out more at jewelryforever.ca and get yourself something lovely. And if you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy. Get in touch. radioshowad@gmail.com. We do the show live every week, which means you can personalize those ads week to week as well. If you have an event, a sale, something happening at a particular time in a particular place, you let us know in real time, and we let your potential client base know. It's an amazing opportunity. Radio Show AD, Radio Show Ad at gmail.com. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with actor, singer, Timothy Ng. Oh yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. You said you're actor and singer. I didn't know you were a singer as well.
Yeah. Music theater is my background. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because I know, have you been able to, I guess the last few years theater has been kind of done, right? Have you been able to do any live theater stuff lately? I guess not, or have you?
Nothing really, no. Theater is kicking back up. They're starting back up. So I do have a Stratford callback in October. So
sweet.
That's good news. I'm hoping that goes well. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, Stratford. Actually, I was in Stratford recently. In fact, I think I mentioned this on the show before, but I went to. You're probably familiar with Balzac's coffee shops.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly in Toronto. I think they're chains, but I think there's a bunch spread around. Anyway, I've always every location has like a mug that's got a design, you know.
Yeah.
And so one weekend, my girlfriend and I decided to make a trip of it, and we drove out to Stratford to go to that location and get the Balzac's mug. But Stratford's really nice, actually. Like just walking around there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Have you have the callback? Have you been to Stratford before? Have you been up there?
I have been to Stratford, but like briefly. It was literally get there, park, go into the theater, and watch the show and leave kind of thing. We didn't really have a chance to like explore the area.
Yeah. I hadn't been there since high school for the same thing. Like we went there for, like, it's pretty, for people watching, it's a fairly normal trip to go to for schools to go up to Stratford and watch a play or something. So, but I hadn't been back since I was like, I guess high school or younger even. I can't remember when I went. But yeah, if you get a chance, it's nice to just walk around. In fact, it's probably like you said you went up to Port Hope. Was that when you went to Port Hope? Was that just like a little getaway, or what were you?
Yeah, so it's this thing called guess where trips.
Okay.
And they have like an envelope labeled 1 through like 5 or something like that, and you open the first envelope and it tells you like where to go. These are the spots to visit at Port Hope, and then if you and then after you finish that booklet, you open the second envelope and it tells you, okay, now there's a trail hike or whatever, food. And, hit up this place, and then number 3 is like a trail, and this place has like picturesque, things that you can do and take pictures.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like a guide. It's like a guided tour type thing.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Actually, I was in Port Hope not long ago because we went to you ever heard of like these lavender fields? I don't know. It's a thing that people are doing. It's like they're just fields of purple lavender, and you can go, and it's good for Instagram because you can take pictures in front of the lavender and stuff. But we drove up to Port Hope for that, and then we walked around the town. It's a nice town as well. Did
you go to Olympus Burger?
We did not go to Olympus Burger. Is that in Port Hope?
Oh my goodness, yeah. You have to go. Like the next time you go to Port Hope, you have to go to Olympus Burger.
Although, finish. Sorry.
It honestly is like the best burgers that you'll like ever have. Like it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's like really really good. Like we had a good time. Like my girlfriend rarely eats burgers, and she like ate this and was like and she finished it and was like, oh my goodness, like this is like freaking amazing. So.
Nice. Although I mean the only problem is I become a vegetarian, so
they have vegetarian options. So the burger I got, so instead of an actual beef patty, it was a pineapple ring. And it's cool. Like real pineapple, and then and you can just and it actually it's vegan because like there's nothing that's like animal products, no cheese. Like you can have the option to add cheese if you want, but it came with like mushrooms, and lettuce. I forgot what else was on there, and then they gave a bunch of other condiments on the side, so you can like put it in if you want or not, and then
so wait, the patty was a pineapple?
Yeah, like a pineapple ring, like
yeah. And I guess they flavor it and do a bunch of things to it to make it like kind of burger like.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. Port Hope, Ontario, Olympus Burger. Okay. Yeah. I will I'll check it out. Yeah. Yeah, because we ended up going there because I told you we went to Stratford, and then I think we did it over. Oh yeah, that's right. There was 1 week. My girlfriend was off work for a few days, and so we went one day. We went to Stratford, and then the next day we went to this lavender fields and walked around. It's just a nice day trip. You go up to these smaller towns, and they all have like usually have like a nice main street where there's usually like some nice restaurants and like a few things like that. So
yeah,
it's a nice little giveaway. John Jordy, are you guys talking about food? Is there burgers, donuts, and cakes? Well, there were burgers. I don't think they had donuts and cakes. Actually, when we were in Port Hope, we did go to a bakery, and they had cakes.
Yeah,
that was good. And Carter's Gaming Show, 3K subs. We're not at 3K subs yet, but we're getting close. Thanks to all of you guys. Yeah, we're climbing. One thing I found out. So I don't know if you heard. So they've started to open the border up. So I know Americans are allowed to drive into Canada now.
Yeah.
But it's not. Canadians are not allowed to drive into the U.S. And so I finished my short film a little while ago, and it got into the Gen Con Film Festival, which was supposed to be happening, or it's still happening, September 15th to 18th? No, September 16th to 19th. That was the date. And originally they had the borders were supposed to open August 21st. So I was planning to go. Like I had booked an Airbnb and everything. I was going to drive to Indianapolis.
Mhm.
And then we found out yesterday or whatever day it was, a couple days ago, that they've extended the border closure till September 21st. So now I won't be able to go, which is unfortunate. But the film is still going to be screening there, everybody. So if you guys are in that area, and then also I think there's going to be an online portion, because I know that not everybody's able to attend. So I think there are still going to be, like, I was going to be participating in some panels and stuff, acting panels and things, which I was looking forward to. But apparently there's going to be some online panels as well. So it's good. It's been okay. I don't know. What are your thoughts on, like, online film festivals? Because there were a bunch of online film festivals, like exclusively online during the pandemic, like ones that they used to be in person and then they switched to full online.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hesitant to participate in them because for me, the biggest part I got of the festival is like going there and meeting filmmakers and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know that you were in a short film that did some festival work right during the pandemic. So what do you think?
Yeah, made the festival rounds. We, it was still showing a little bit during the pandemic. What is it called? They had a kind of like a film festival thing online where we had. It was a neat experience. But the annoying thing was, like, I gotta open my computer, I gotta log on, and like, I don't know, like, for me it was like kind of like Zoom fatigue, where it's like I'm doing Zoom like all the time. I'm just facing my computer, and then like it's just this need to constantly like plug everything in. All right, put my camera on, like, just do all these things just to set up, just to like, watch a film festival and then interact on a screen. But like you said, like, I'd rather be there in person and actually meet person face to face. It's a different energy, it's a different dynamic when you're behind the screen. It just doesn't feel like that. It just doesn't feel like what you would get like normally as energy wise from other people, like how you receive their energy and you giving your energy back out. It's just like a completely different dynamic.
Yep, I agree. There's something more. In fact, for me, it's both things. It's like what you're just talking about, the in-person. Like, I even find with this show, like, I like this. This is fine. We're sitting here, we're chatting, you know. But every now and again, like when I'm like just on YouTube, sometimes I'll jump in and I'll look back at some of our earlier episodes. Like even just the ones before the pandemic, when I'm like sitting across and Regine's sitting right beside me and we're chatting with somebody in the room, and it's just such a different feel. And I'm watching that and I'm like, there's something about that that's so much more enjoyable, And then, and specifically with film festivals, like, I guess it depends on the type of film and it depends on, but like, especially the film I've just made now, Storage Room B, it's kind of like I guess it's a horror, even though I don't think it's really that. I don't know if it's a horror. It doesn't matter. Whatever. The point is, I do think it's the type of movie that would go great in a theater with a group of people beside you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so the idea of that being of losing that experience where they're just going to screen it online and people can just watch it. Like I feel like, especially if you're watching something like on your phone, or it's not the theater. When you're in a theater, it kind of commands your attention a little bit more, right? Like there's no distractions, and you're almost expected to like look up. Whereas, so I hope I just want to get back to things that are normal again. So. So it's all right. Hey, Emmanuel, what's up? That is true. Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's just there's something special about. I don't know. I don't know if magic is the right word, but there's just like there's something special about film, and like you go here and we expect you to sit and look, and like, no, it's rude if you've got your phone on and you're looking down at it. Because I even find so much TV, like even me when I'm watching TV, it's kind of a normal thing where like I'm watching TV, but I've got my phone and maybe I'm responding to somebody. And like sometimes I'll like be scrolling, and then I'll realize I missed something and I've got to rewind because I'm like, oh wait, what the heck are they? You know, and then I'll put the phone down and be like, you know, but it's so normal now.
Yeah. And I think it's also because we know that we have that power to go back, that we're like, well, what's 5 minutes of the film, you know, if I can just go back and just rewatch that or whatever it is. But in the theater, you don't have that luxury. It's like you have to pay attention. And I feel like that's the difference. Again, like having people around you is like having them around you to enjoy the same, like to have that same experience as you is completely different. Like I think I do remember like we like at one point in the like festival, I was just like just looking down at my phone, like, you know, just doing stuff. But it's completely different for sure.
Yeah, I even noticed at the time, I remember there's a few people I know, actors and who are typically do live theater or live stage stuff, and they did a couple things where they did some online plays because again their theater couldn't open or whatever. And it's cool. I mean, I like the idea of it, but again, I mean, it's obviously not, it's just not on the same level as going into a room, because it's you know what it also is, there is that magical thing like when you're in a crowd and something funny happens, right? Or like, and then they all laugh together. Or like, I don't know if you've ever been to I mean, if you've ever watched like a horror film with a crowd of people, but like I remember one of the most fun experiences I ever had in a theater was I was at the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. Have you ever been to that?
Toronto? No, I haven't.
So it's like, I think it's every October. It's like a Halloween type. So it specializes in horror and sci-fi films and weird ones. Like I remember I saw the Human Centipede there, and but like but watching that movie, you know, that gross out like shocking movie, but with a group of people, because there's this moment where like the whole audience goes right, like everybody reacts, and then everybody starts laughing because everybody heard everybody's reaction. You know, like there's this cool like moment where you're almost you're experiencing this thing together, and then you realize that, hey, they reacted the same way I did, and it's such a joyful thing. So
and also like it's for actors too, like when we're doing like live theater and like something like funny happens and they laugh and we're like, oh, okay, so now we get a response, we feed off that, and we're like, okay, all right. But like when you feel like you're putting out like, you know, a punchline of a joke or something like that, and no one laughs, you're like, I feel like, you know, like my spirits are all of a sudden like, you know, it's down, like I don't, you know, and then it just throws your performance off, like you know, so
well, like that's a big one. Like I remember, I don't know if you saw, I watched a little bit of some of the award shows. Like I actually gave most of them a miss this year, but you see how weird some of the award shows were. I don't know if you saw any of it, where like they'd have a comedian who comes out and he's like delivering jokes, you know, like before he's going to introduce the next award or whatever. But he's giving the award, he's saying the jokes, but it's exactly what you just said. There's no audience. So he's like, yeah, can you believe all that? And then it's just quiet. And it made the whole thing very almost cringy to watch. Because it's like,
exactly.
You kind of need the audience there. You need it. Yeah. So I'm hoping we get it back soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. This I really thought it was done, you know, like, I know in Ontario anyway, like we got to a point where we were like, I think we dropped to like 170 people in a day. And like that was so low. And I was like, hey, we did it. And we were consistently like around 200. Yeah. And now I think we're up at 500. And I think the last one I saw was 600. So.
Oh, no.
I hope it doesn't keep going. I don't know. Most of the people who are getting it now are the unvaccinated.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know there's some risk still. There's breakthrough infections and stuff, but I just want this to be over. I mean, I guess everybody does.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking, I did want to ask you about just from acting wise. So obviously, we've had to shift to self tape auditions.
Yeah.
How do you like it? Do you like the self tape audition? Do you miss the in person?
A part of me misses the in person, and then a part of me just wants this to continue on. I feel self tapes are more flexible than in person, because in person it's like you're given a time slot on, I don't know, Wednesday at like 2 p.m. and you're like, oh well, crap, like that's when I need to head to work or do other stuff, and you're like trying to juggle your schedule around. Whereas like a self tape, it's like, hey, it's given to you like maybe 3 days beforehand, or even just a day beforehand, but you're like able to like, okay, you know what, I come home at like 7 p.m. I'll put it on tape, send it off, whatever, or wait till the next day, do it, and then send it off. And I find that flexible schedule a lot better, so that we're all able to do whatever we need to do. And I also find, like, I think so I was on set for a CIBC commercial like last year, in like October, and then I was on set, and then my agent sent me a self-tape audition that was due like literally the next day, and it was like a one-liner. So I was like, okay, well, I'm on set, I'm not doing anything right now, let me just put let my phone on, and then just do that one line, and then put it all together. And it was super easy. So I was like, because I don't know what when my day's gonna end, so I was like, yeah, I'll just put it all on my phone, just send it off, not worry about it. And yeah, like so when it's something like that, then I feel like it's so much better to have self tapes. And then you can also do it like as many times as you want till you get it perfect for that one one shot or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I remember talking to actors, like when we had in-person auditions, usually sometimes you strike up a conversation with somebody, right? And I remember when I was chatting with somebody, and some of them will be like, oh yeah, I just drove in from like Barrie, which for people it's like that's like an hour outside of Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And so like when they get an audition, if they don't live near it, like it's basically their whole day. Like basically they've taken a day off work, or it's just, yeah, I have to, my entire day is now spent going to this audition, and that's all I do today. Right. Yeah. Whereas with self tapes, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They'll be like, okay, we need it tomorrow or a day later. And you can kind of do it when you need it, It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But again, I guess the same thing. And I was talking with somebody on the show before. Same thing is, again, there's something about being in the room, because you get a better idea of like what's it going to be like actually working with this person, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So it's
having a live reader like makes a huge difference.
Yeah. In fact, what's that's the thing I didn't like. So I think I've said this before too, but like I like the self-tape audition, but what I don't like is the Zoom audition.
Oh yeah. The Zoom auditions, yeah.
Yeah, like doing a scene with a reader who's like somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. I mean, you do it, right? Like you know whatever, you got to do what you got to do, but that one's weird, because especially if there's that like slight delay,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
The most funny is if the line is like, sometimes there's a line where you have to cut somebody off, and like so you're trying to cut them off, but like there's like a delay. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've definitely had auditions like that before too, and you're like, la, cut me off, and then they come in with their line, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, kind of takes the wind out of the sails a little bit. Emmanuel says, I think self-tape auditions are pretty cool, considering that you can make your audition look more appealing. Like you can make your environment however you want rather than adjusting. You don't need to adjust the way you want to act in person. Yeah, that's true. And also, actually, one thing I found, I don't know, like I know for me personally, when I found about myself when I'm doing a self-tape audition, is I often find I'll do the line first. Like I'll set up my camera, I'll do the scene, right? And then I'll watch it back, And oftentimes what I'll find myself doing is I'll watch it and then I'll see how I deliver it and I'll go, oh, wait, this is actually, if I adjust this, it's almost like I need to see myself do it once.
Yeah.
And then I can see what I look like doing it. And then I can come back again and then do it. And then it's kind of how I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so one thing I find is when we do go back to in person, what I think I might find myself doing is before I go to the audition, I might shoot a self-tape on my own first, just so I know how it looks. Because you kind of get that built in, like, oh yeah, this is now I see what I actually look like on camera, which you didn't really get that when you're going to an in-person audition. So it's been interesting. I found though, oh wait, hang on, what's your camera doing? Your camera's doing something weird. Hang on, I think I can fix that. Let me see. There we go, fixed you. I've also found I've gotten better at them. Like, I don't know. Have you found, I guess now that we've been doing it all the time, like it used to take me a lot more takes to get the scene I want. And I've been happy that now I've been getting it like less, like 2, 3, 3, 4 sometimes.
I mean, sometimes it still takes me maybe like, 9 or 10. But that's me being like, like actually like nitpicky. Like I just recently had a self-tape for this low budget feature. And it's like a cop basically pulls out a gun and points it at like a teenager basically, and then at the end you have to shoot him. But like I had a like a BB gun, and I was like trying to cock it back, but there was just a lot of like technical things that went into it, and then that would throw off my performance because I'm trying to do an action along with my lines, and then I'm also like acting like pissed, and then all that stuff, and so like watching the first take, and I'm like, no, I don't feel like I'm menacing enough. So I go super hard. I'm menacing, and then my gun doesn't work, and I'm like oh damn it, and so it's a bunch of those factors, but I think like by the third or fourth take, I had a really good one, but then there was one part in my camera where I went just completely blurry.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, oh shoot, like I have to redo it again. But it was other than that little part, it was perfect. So
that's the worst. That's the worst when you find like, okay, now I have to try to recreate that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because what I also find as well is sometimes I'll get to a point where it's usually after I've done like 3 or 4 where they start to get worse, where it depends on the type of scene, where I'm almost like there's almost something about the way you deliver the lines. There's a bit more spontaneity maybe because maybe you don't like you're kind of more saying it for the first time, and then I just find it's easy for me to start to almost feel like I'm just saying dialogue. I don't know why, but there's something about like if I do too many takes, the takes start to like, I don't know if they get stale or they get. So that's the worst. Like
it just looks really rehearsed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess because it is, right? I mean, and I guess there's something about. I mean, when we're obviously lines are supposed to be. They're not written. They're supposed to be like we're just saying it, right? Like they're supposed to, right? So. Most people, when they speak, they don't say the same thing 20 times in a row. So I guess that's why. Yeah. So I will say that the self-tapes, even if we do go back to in-person, which I imagine we will, I feel like it's definitely helped me, though. I think it's made me a better actor because there's a large part of it's like I'm trying to think back now how many auditions, where you went to the audition and it was an in-person audition. You went into the room, you did your performance. They went, okay, thank you. And then you left. And you really have no idea what it looked like. You don't really know what it came across as. You don't know if, and to be able to sort of see it first, it's almost you're basically get to camera test yourself. Yeah. So
the thing is though, we are our own worst critic. So even when we watch it and we're like it, to other people, it might look like it's like, it's actually a really good take, but to you, you're like, oh, man, like, I could have done this a little better, or like, oh, I wish I didn't look like that in that angle or whatever it is. Like, oh, the lighting was just a little off, like, and I think it's just like we become like our greatest critic, and sometimes we might skip over that good take because to us it didn't look good, but like to an outside eye it might actually been like, oh, that one's the take rather than that one that you just submitted, right?
Yeah, that's true too, because that's true. We all have these little things about ourselves that like we might notice that your average person doesn't notice.
Yeah.
Or like, oh wait, my hair was doing that thing, and most people will be like, I didn't even notice that your does that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, Crispy still. Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, they were like, oh, it says that there are no people watching, but Crispy's like, oh, but I'm still here. Emmanuel's still here. Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for your comments. That's appreciate it, guys. Oh, Siggy was here. Hey, Siggy Music, 3K sooner than later, my man. A happy Sunday to you. Thank you, Siggy, and welcome to the show. Siggy is a great musician. He's and I'm a member of his band, and we haven't seen each other in a very, very long time. I mean, that was another thing. We were rehearsing every Monday night for like 2 years or something. We were playing, and then suddenly it all just stopped. It was so weird when the pandemic first started. I remember because there was so many normal things that were just done.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like looking back at those things, it almost feels like it was so long ago. It feels like another world, even.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like you've gotten any like weirder because of the pandemic? Like, do you feel like
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've lost. I feel like I've lost a bit of my social skills. Like especially when I'm serving at the Cineplex VIP. It's like I remember the first time going back. It was like I was stuttering all the time, just like how are you doing? Like it was just completely weird. Or like sometimes I would say the wrong thing. Like I remember I was like oh yeah. So how are you doing? Not why are we doing? You know, so it's like this whole thing.
I feel like it's probably everybody. It felt really weird, like being at this wedding I was just at, because that was the first group of people I've been around in a long time, and it's just, I guess it's just like I guess social skills like anything. There's out of practice, but it just felt so. It feels weird, like just sitting around and seeing all these people around me. I'm still not totally comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird. And then, I don't know, I'm trying to think like for example, I'm thinking to myself, like if before the pandemic, if I was able to speak to that person, right? Like, and I said to them, did you know that like, you're going to be cutting your own hair in the next 2 years? I was like, what? You know? And like, I think I've gotten pretty good at it, actually. Like this is all myself. I cut my hair.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
You know,
I had my mom do this.
Oh.
So I like basically just like tied it up and was like, okay, Mom, you see this line here? Just go up to that line, yeah.
Nice. That looks good. It's funny to think that like it would have never there was no point at all that I would imagine even fathom that I would ever cut my own hair. Like there was never any, you know, and now it's kind of like now there's moments where I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, am I ever going to get a haircut again? Like even when we go back, like it looks, the only thing that I'm unsure of is like the very back because I can't see it. So,
yeah.
And my girlfriend's very hesitant to like, I'm like, can you just cut across the back here? And she's like, I don't think I, you know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So the first time, like I think it was like the really early like part of the lockdown. And like my hair was already like this part was already like really poofy, and I was like, I look ridiculous. I need this off. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands, and I started doing it, and I buzzed. I think I like, you know, with the clippers, you have that plastic guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're supposed to go like little by little. And I was like, I'm like, screw this. So I just took off the guard and I just went full on like metal, and it was like I cut it and I was like, okay, well, I guess I gotta commit.
Gotta do it now.
So I just did the sides because I couldn't see the back, like you said, and then I was like, oh shoot. So then I asked my girlfriend to do it, and she looked at me. She's like, no, I am not doing it for you. You look freaking ridiculous right now. No, I'm not gonna mess it up even more. So then I called my barber friend, and he was like. He was like, oh yeah, you know, just make sure that you don't get the cowlick, you know, just like leave that on there. And I'm like, you know, how do you do it? And like they took a picture of their head and was like, okay, so like this part, and was like doing a full on outline for me.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then I was like, okay, all right. I can't see back there. I'm like, Mom, do it. So the first time she did it, it was pretty bad, but she got a lot more practice in, because just been doing this now. Got a lot more practice in. Now it's like it's almost like a second nature. Like she's like my personal barber now.
Nice.
Yeah, but that time it was like, it looked terrible. It was like you just see skin just off the side. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna fix this? There's no barbers. Like barbershops are closed. I can't fix this.
Yeah. But you figured it looks good now. Yeah. That's the thing. I had the same problem when I felt I needed to cut it, because it's when the sides start to stick out, right? Because it just starts to look like, I mean, I keep my hair pretty long on top anyways, but I've always liked it. In fact, for a while, I even had it like yours, like very shaved at the side. And one thing I've noticed that the pandemic has done is I've kind of started to like the slightly longer style. So I don't know if I'm going to go back to having it shaved, but I still like it short, like just, just trimmed, right? I just found what I was doing is I was getting more and more brave. Like at the beginning, I would be like, okay, like my philosophy at first was just, I'm only going to take as much as I know when I get a haircut, they'll take more, So I'd be like, I'll just, I'd chop off like that much here and there, chop off that much, But then as like time went on, I was just getting more and more brave. And now I'm like some of the hairs on the side are like, I don't know if you can see, it's pretty short. Like it used to be a lot more, but I'm just like, so now I've got this thing where almost every day, like I wake up in the morning, I usually wet my hair, wash my hair, and then I look in the mirror, and if I see anything gets kind of like looking like it's out of place, I just chop it off. And so now I've got this constant ongoing haircut. That's just, but that's the thing now. It's put me in this position where it looks fine to me. I mean, unless the back's awful, I don't know when I'll go back and get a haircut. I don't know. Yeah. The other thing is I find, like, I don't know, have you ever gone to the haircut and then you leave and you're like, why'd they take that off so much? Or like, oh, I didn't quite want it like that, right? And that's happened a few times. Even the guys I go to now, I really like them, but sometimes they take a bit more than I wanted them to, or I wish it was a little longer. Yeah. And if I keep cutting it myself, it's like, that'll never happen. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
I honestly now, when I go, like if I ever go back to the barber, I'm literally just gonna tell them to do the sides, because back when I had this too, they would usually just cut off like a little too much, and I can't tie it back into a bun or whatever, and it's just like, hair would always get into my face, and I'm like, it's so annoying. Why'd they touch the top? But now it's just like, just do this, and maybe like a beard trim or whatever.
Yeah, because like now it's a way that you can know exactly what you want. Yeah. In fact, if anything, maybe even if we go back to the barbers, at least now, because we've had experience cutting our own hair.
Yeah, exactly.
We can actually say what we want. Right. Whereas before, I'm kind of in the dark. I'm like, okay, just I hope, cut it so that it looks nice. But at least now it's like, no, make sure you leave this piece and this piece, and the part's got to be here, and
Yeah.
So we've all got more knowledge now. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. Well, wow, we've been going for over an hour. It's pretty good.
Keep going.
I mean, we can. Actually, I've actually another thing that's made me weirder with. I've talked about it on the show before, but it's still going on. Have you heard of the no poo community? No poo.
No. On it. No.
So it's a funny name, but all it's about is people. There's this whole community of people on YouTube who don't use shampoo. They don't shampoo their hair. Okay. And I was like, this is one thing that, again, it never would have happened if not for the pandemic. But I was like watching YouTube, and I see this video, and the video was like this guy who, the title was like, I haven't washed my hair, I haven't shampooed my hair in, I can't remember what it was, 6 months, a year, whatever. But it's basically, this goes on this whole thing about, I've explained it on the show before, but whatever, I'll explain it again, is that apparently when you shampoo, it removes all the natural oils from your hair. And so when you do that, it causes your hair to overproduce oil. And so that's why your hair gets really oily. And he was basically saying that if you don't regularly shampoo, the amount of oil your hair produces kind of evens out, and it doesn't get super oily anymore.
Mhm.
And so again, because we were like, oh, well, this is a pandemic, whatever, blah, 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 I decided to I'm like, oh, let's try it. So I tried it for a week, and basically I still shower every day, and I rinse my hair and like scrub at my scalp. I just haven't used shampoo.
Mhm.
And now it's been like a month and a half, and I haven't used shampoo.
Yeah.
And to say that, it feels gross, but the bizarre part is that my hair doesn't feel oily. It's actually really weird. It actually feels pretty soft and kind of nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's another thing. I'm like, now it was an experiment, and I was like thinking, oh, well, how long will I go? Because I was expecting me to go over this cliff where it'd be like, okay, now my hair is disgusting. I really got to shampoo it now. Yeah, it's, but I haven't hit that point yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering now, if it's ever going to come, which is, so, again, if I'd said to my pre-pandemic self, yeah, Scott, you're also not going to shampoo your hair anymore. I'd be like, what are you talking about? So, but I don't know.
I use conditioner in instead of shampoo. It would just be okay, I sweat today. I went to the gym or whatever, and then I would wash it, get my scalp, and then just condition my hair.
Oh,
actually, so that it doesn't dry it out, but it keeps it smooth and kind of locks the oils in there.
Yeah. In fact, that's the other thing I found is that there was a couple times I have used conditioner now because I noticed, and this is after even a month, because I would expect that I always thought that the moisture in my hair, because there are times when it feels dry. I'll notice, especially I come right out of the shower after shampooing, and I almost didn't like how fluffy it becomes. You almost want there to be a shine. And I thought, oh, well, maybe my when I stop shampooing, my hair will always be all moisturized, right? But then what I realized is that there were times that it still feels like how I would think of it as dry. Mm-hmm. And I had to add conditioner to give that smooth feel again. So it's almost so I don't know what that feeling was that makes it dry, because it's not dry, because obviously there's more oil in my hair now. But it is interesting how the conditioner almost coats the hair to give you that smooth shimmer. It's weird. I'm learning all these things. I'm learning these things about my hair. Oh, Crispy, I've been here for almost an hour now. Well, that's awesome, Crispy. I'm glad you've been here hanging out with us. Yeah. I don't know. Any other cool things you've been... what else has the pandemic done to you? Have you...
It gave me weird thoughts. So I was... So you know how I actually put a bit of thought into this. Because I was just sitting there, and I was like, damn, I'm kind of scrounging for money and all that stuff, and I'm I watched a bit of Shark Tank, and I'm like, yo, how do these people come up with these $1 million ideas, right? So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wait a minute, what if I had $1 million $1 ideas, and these ideas could just be sold off for $1, and people would be like, oh, it's only $1, so I'll buy it. And if you have 1 million of those, then you'll have $1 million.
I mean, the logic is sound.
Right? But to come up with an idea that's worth $1, it's it doesn't have to be a solid idea. It literally just, it's an idea. Give me $1.
That's true.
Yeah.
You come up with an okay idea.
Yeah.
That's good enough that somebody is just willing to be like, I'll give you $1 for that. Okay. Yeah. And then you just gotta find those investors. You gotta find the 1 million investors.
Yeah.
Who are willing to do it. But I mean, the logic is sound, right? It's like anything. It's like if you, it's like how, if you make a song and you sell it for 99 cents, but then if 1 million people buy it, then that's, that's 1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Well, how has that been going? Have you come up with any $1 ideas?
I mean, not really. We joke around at work. I've told some of my coworkers this. We joke around at work with just really, really dumb stuff like, oh, like, come up with this thing where you enter and instead of giving your contact tracing information, this machine will just go like this, right? And scan your whole body and see if you've been vaxxed, right? Or like it'll scan, tell you you've been vaxxed, and then it'll also give your social insurance number away, your credit card numbers. But if you pay $5 for this idea, then you won't get the social insurance number. They won't get your social insurance number, and they won't get your credit card number. If you pay $10 for this idea, it's like, okay, now you have your privacy, like all that stuff. So just kind of like just joking around, and then like kind of like, oh, maybe like a useless superpower or something like that, where it's like you have flight, but you can only fly like 6 inches off the ground. Like
that could be 6 inches off the ground. Let me think. What would that be good for? It would only be really good for like reaching things on higher shelves. You could reach things. Okay, that's a little high. Grab it. You can get a light bulb out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
Wait, let me think. Fly 6 inches off the ground. So does that mean like if I want to fly
like Superman fly, like this?
Oh,
like
so
but 6 inches off.
So they're like gliding. So flying almost puts you lower.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, can you go fast?
No, it would just kind of be like
normal speed.
Yeah, normal speed. Like the speed that you would like walk would be the speed that you would essentially fly, but like 6 inches off the ground though. Nothing like.
I love it. Yeah. I want to watch that movie. I mean, actually, you could probably make a pretty funny movie about that. That actually would be kind of funny.
You could sell that movie for $1.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Or just a clip, it's like, I'm gonna go save the day, and they're running, and then they go, and they're just 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah, gliding right along the ground, underneath cars, past like dogs and stuff. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's one of 999,000 more $1 ideas. Well, this has been great. It's been a very good episode. And look, thank you, Crispy, for being here. Emmanuel, all you guys for hanging out. Hit that like button. I saw you all did. Yeah. But this was fun. Fun. So I don't know what's before we wrap up. What's next for you? Do you have any plans, or I guess we're all still waiting and seeing what the future is going to hold. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hope we get to do it in September, but I was involved in a reading of a play back in 2018, and the writer contacted me mid-pandemic and was like, "Hey, we're doing this in September. We want to put on a play." So I'm hoping that will come to fruition.
Cool.
Otherwise, if not, then October is my callback for Stratford, and then I'm hoping that goes through as well too. Then I'll have something to do.
Yeah. That's the thing. Everything's so in flux right now.
Yeah, it is.
I really hope this Delta thing goes down. Like every day I'm watching it, because you never know. Like they always say it's trending in certain directions, right? And I guess it is, but you always hope that it's like, okay, maybe that's the top, and then it'll just go back down again, and like, because like 500 cases is a lot, but it's not like in the grand scheme of like the entire province of Ontario. It's really not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But if it climbs up to 1,000, then 2,000, blah blah blah. So we'll see. But that's cool. So 2018. So you read this play 2018.
Yeah.
And then so I guess then they were probably workshopping it and stuff, and then suddenly the pandemic hits, and then it's like, okay, everything's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that'll be.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was actually just strictly just a read. Like he was saying, like this. I just wanted to test out, like my play. I'm gonna make some edits afterwards, but this is just a rough draft type of thing. We read it, and he we didn't know what he was going to do with it afterwards. He was like, the core group that's reading right now, you might not be in it. So 2019 came, and I heard nothing about it. And then 2020 was like, hey, send in your bio. We're gonna try to do this 2021 September. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And
fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But anyway, so that's coming. So probably September. If not, well, it's coming when it's. It'll be here when it's here. Where can people find you? Where if they want to follow you, your acting journey and all the other stuff?
Instagram, most likely. I'm slowly getting into that TikTok game. So,
nice.
But Instagram would be mainly my thing. So Timothy Lincoln Ing, TimothyLincolng is my Instagram handle. Y'all can come and follow me.
Cool. Yeah, it's there on the screen, and it's also on the link in the description, everybody, as well. You can find it there. And guys, if you want to follow me at Scott Dion Brown, youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. Right here where you're watching this video. You can also find me on Twitch and Instagram as well. And Twitch and DLive. We do a lot of live streams on this channel, which is a wonderful time. Oh, nice. Crispy just followed you. Awesome. So all of you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you had fun. Timothy, this was great. It was nice to just sit and chat.
Yeah, right? Good. Yeah.
It's good. We're yeah, thanks for being here. We got to work on our social skills a little bit, which is good.
Right? Yeah. It's good practice. Yeah.
We need it. We all need it.
Now I'm roaring to go back to work and be like, look what I learned.
Yeah.
Look what I practiced.
Exactly. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Tomorrow there's going to be a Brawlhalla live stream, so feel free to tune in and follow us there. And then Regine will be back for next week's episode of Sit Down, next week Sunday. So come on down. And Tim, thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I'll see you guys later. Cheers, everybody. Bye.
Cheers.